I'm in my home office, aka the living room on the couch. I have a young child right beside me who is sleeping. So if you hear the faint sounds of sleeping and breathing, that's baby girl right there. I'm just letting you know that in advance because all of these posts were made with her beside me. Now, these posts are very important. They're talking manipulation tactics, we're talking negging, we're talking pranks, we're talking how men are able to mask for years to get their hooks in you and only to let the mask slip once they think they have you. Each of these posts could have been standalone posts. So please watch to the end and let me know what you think. Join the conversation, watch all three, and then jump in. Women need to know these things because this is how these people operate. I was sent this post a couple of times. It was posted in the dating advice subreddit. And from the title alone, she just needs to leave this person alone because he criticized my body after sex. That's the title. He criticized my body after sex. Yes, she needs to just leave this man alone. All right, let's get into her post. She says, I'm in my mid 30s and recently started dating a guy who's 41. We slept together for the first time over the weekend, and he made several comments about my body, and it's really knocked my confidence. My body is pear shaped. I'm slim but have large hips and small boobs. I work out most days and have always thought my body was okay. While lying in my bed straight after sex, this guy said that my boobs were the same size as his pecs, that he noticed I don't have a flat stomach. He said I have a pouch. He said my butt is wobbly. He told me he thinks I'm too pale for a Latina and then said it's not a problem though. I'm just saying I expected you to be more tan. I felt very vulnerable at that moment and told him I was surprised he was being so critical. He doubled down and said my body is perfectly fine and that it's okay because he prefers a pretty face over a nice body. I have never experienced this level of bluntness before. He wants to see me again, but I feel really insecure. I don't have the best track record with relationships, mainly due to a terrible childhood, so I doubt myself a lot. These comments aren't okay, are they? She says, edit. This blew up. I wasn't expecting all of these replies, but thank you so much for all of the advice. Truthfully, I do feel like, thanks to his comments, but I'm trying not to take them on board. On a positive note, I have blocked him on everything. I'm not normally a blocker and usually have the courtesy to tell someone why I'm ending things, but frankly, he doesn't deserve it. F him, not literally. Once was more than enough. LOL. This is the perfect example of negging. This is a manipulation tactic. He found a woman that already had self-esteem issues, self-confidence issues, and he was able to zero in on that by saying things about her body, by trying to take her down a notch and then say it's perfectly fine. He tried to deflate her and then build her up enough to where she may want to please him. Like, oh my God, I'm having this issue, and this issue. I'm not that great in this issue, but at least he still likes me. That is a manipulation tactic to keep someone still on the hook. He needed to deflate her confidence, even just 3 to 4 more notches, even though her self-esteem was already not there, because that's the type of person that becomes a people pleaser. Like, maybe if I just did this a little bit more, he would like me. He might not like me here, but I can make up for it over there. This is a manipulation tactic to just, I don't know what this is, but I know that this is from the pickup artist. This is negging, and this is not something that creates a healthy dynamic. Making your self confidence go down, making you doubt yourself in even more is not how you create some kind of healthy dynamic. And doing this right after sex, when she said she was vulnerable, and she was vulnerable. She's laying there naked and exposed, and he would have the nerve to do this. The- I'm glad that she brought this to Reddit so we could have this discussion that this is not right, this is not normal, and this is not how you build anything. I'm glad that she did this so we can talk about this. You do not have to accept all of these critiques and mean spirited comments. Just leave these people alone and do what this woman did and block on all platforms. Haberdashery says the only guy who has ever said things like that to me ended up being an abuser. It starts there and it goes downhill. You have been given a warning sign to get out now. And then the OP says, I did wonder if this was the start of emotional abuse. He has made a couple of other comments that made me think that he's got control issues. For example, I went to the gym the other day and he said, why are you so suddenly going to the gym all the time? Who are you doing that for? This was before he made those comments about my body, by the way. There's been some other things as well, but this is just one example. Oh, and he left massive hickeys on my neck and boobs the night I slept with him. And he said it was because they're his boobs now, despite them being too small. I roll. And then Whispers with Cat says, he is textbook controlling, insecure abuser down to the hickeys. I'm glad you blocked him. Reading your comments reminds me of a man I dated in my early 20s. He was 15 years older, of course, another red flag. Unfortunately, I put up with it much longer until I was physically injured. Men like this absolutely disgust me. We have to warn others. We are all in this together. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I use my platform for, to use these stories as cautionary tales and ways to warn women that this is not normal or healthy. Cote LeQ says, wow, yeah, he was definitely giving telltale signs of an abuser. So glad you blocked him and that you immediately saw that was not cool. It's good to see examples of what abusive guys say at the start of a relationship so we can watch out for similar stuff as well. Yes. Here for Sheets and Giggle says, yes, he was marking you like you were his territory and he was not shy about it. So this is the advice that I would give and live by. If you had a daughter and her partner was this guy, would you be at peace? In other words, your standards have to be the same as you would want them for the human being you love the most. People would want the best for their child. It sounds impossible to let someone near. I get that there are a lot of poopy people. Know that it's okay to be alone because no one is worth your peace, happiness, and well-being, both physical and mental. May you always be safe and that only those that respect and care for you stay by your side. Amen. Or a woman. This person says you need to break it off now before it gets embedded and worse. And then finally, I'll do this one. OP, I have to ask, is he every woman's dreamboat in bed? I mean, lovingly exploring your body, making you... I don't want it. We don't even need to explore these questions. It doesn't matter. He's coming across as a red flag. And even if he is a dreamboat in bed, he's still not worthy. All right, y'all. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. We've talked about mean pranks and jokes before, and we're going to continue to talk about them because they are red flags and women need to leave these people alone because a lot of the times these are precursors for abusive behavior later on down the line, and they just use these supposed jokes and laughter as a way to hide their abusive tendencies. This woman posted in the dating advice subreddit saying, he smushed my hat, so I ended things. Did I overreact? And so, I don't know. Let's look at the post. Probably not, though. She says, over the summer, I, 30-year-old woman, went on 4 dates with a guy who's 35. We got along great from the start and both really liked each other. On our 4th date, we were watching a live show and they joked, hold on to your hats. We both grabbed for the brim of the baseball cap I was wearing, which was funny, but then he yanked down my hat. I yelled, ow, because the hat smashed my glasses into my face. Then he lifted the brim and went, oh, I'm sorry, then immediately smushed my hat down again. I tried to put my hands up to stop him, but I couldn't. I was clearly annoyed and gave him an angry look. But he just smiled at me and said nothing. At first, I was going to let it go, but then I remembered how sometimes when we would be walking next to each other, he would randomly shove me to where I would lose my balance. There were some other small joking things joking things I wouldn't have paid any mind to, but everything added up and made me a little uncomfortable. I told him I had a bad knee. He asked which one and then lightly slapped it. That did not hurt at all, and I wasn't worried about it. He joked about if a tiger got out of the zoo, he'd throw rocks at me so I'd fall, and the tiger would get me instead of him. On our second date, he joked about throwing me into a river and picked me up, just kind of spun me around and then put me down. I honestly did not find it that funny though. The hat thing was still bugging me days later, and I decided to trust my gut. I told him we weren't compatible and ended things. I didn't mention why, and he never messaged me again. At the end of the day, if someone told you something hurt them, I don't think your first instinct should be to do it again and not apologize, even if it's something kind of small. But I sometimes wonder if I overreacted. You absolutely did not overreact. This person finds your pressure points or something that is hurtful or that they know annoys you, and then just digs into that pressure point. Why would you do that to someone that you care about, that you're trying to be in a relationship with? Like, what is the point in jokingly making someone feel bad or feel hurt or annoyed or irritated? But I don't get the mindset of some of these people, but it is the mindset of people that deserve to be alone and have nothing and have no relationships, because women deserve better than this. And this is the kind of thing that sets you up. If you let it go, it sets you up to become okay with abuse because they're able to laugh it off. Like, she just doesn't have a sense of humor. Or why is she being such a B word? And that was just a prank. And then you start to doubt yourself. This is a manipulation tactic as well. And like I said, we need to continue to have these conversations, because when people laugh at things, you're supposed to laugh too, but then they have you second guessing yourself. And you should not be second guessing yourself with someone that you should be able to be vulnerable with, and who's supposed to love and support you. This is not love. This is not going towards a healthy relationship at all. Leave this type of person alone. Kathy O says, my son is a teenager and he's more well behaved than that. After 30, I don't have it in me to put up with people that piss me off, so I'd be out too. Mr. Deesh says he sounds more like he's 15, not 35. I don't think this was an overreaction. Find an adult who acts like it and also treats you like an adult. Crayon says, something I learned recently, people can fake good behaviors, but most people don't fake bad behavior. Odd Meeting says, good one. I'm going to remember this one. Let's read that again. It says, people can fake good behaviors. Most people don't fake bad behavior. And is nice says, not wanting to date anyone who finds enjoyment in causing you pain or distress is reasonable. The situation reminds me of those kids who think they're playing around and making jokes only to find out people view them as bullies. Odd Meeting says, yeah, he might be a sadist or an abuser, testing the waters to see how much she will let him get away with. And Indesnai says, which, don't get me wrong, an S&M relationship can be great if everybody's consenting. However, it is definitely something to look out for when the person just starts trying it out without a conversation. And then Odd Meeting says, yeah, they aren't in a consenting S&M relationship. He's just acting like this. So I agree she needs to end it. Just okay memes says, not gonna lie, he sounds really immature. 35. I get trying to be fun, but if you aren't feeling it and he doesn't pick up on that, I don't know. Maybe that's his inability to read social cues or lack of communication between you two, or a combination of both. But he doesn't sound immature though. I wouldn't feel bad about it. I'm sure you can find someone else who isn't a man child. And Odd Meeting again pops in saying, the first time she said ow and stop, no, was his cue to apologize and never do that again. Why he did it again is beyond me. He knows what he did and he knows why it's wrong. Behold, a man with a bold statement has entered the chat. And I know this is a man. This person says, OP, you're no child, so be honest. Did you sit down with this person and tell them how much this bothered you? This statement is so condescending. You're no child. Okay, great. Neither is he. Why would you have to sit down and spell this out to an adult man? Like, why? And why was this even necessary to ask her this? Because it's not even necessary to ask the person that you're seeing to not do this or to have to tell them, this makes me uncomfortable. You would think that the other signals that she was giving would be like, I don't like this, but we got this person saying that. Qualia Quay says nobody should have to tell someone they don't want to be picked on. They're dating, not bros. But here's the OP. She says, I did not. I thought about it. If he had just smashed my hat the one time, I would have either let it go or brought it up. However, my thinking was in the moment, I showed him I didn't like it multiple times by one, yelling ow, and two, trying to push his hands away, and he still carried on without really apologizing. I should I should say he also used a fair amount of force, and me not being able to push him away stressed me the most. She continues with, in my previous relationship, my ex would sometimes accidentally knock into me into his sleep. I would say, ow, and he would immediately be sorry. I never had to explain to him not to do this, do stuff like this. And in these cases, it would be an accident. The man, again, dude, your ex isn't this guy or any other guy you will ever meet. Don't expect men to read your mind. You have to communicate clearly. You don't know what was going on through this dude's mind. Your angry face could be your horny face. You're not the one that looks at it. Look at things from his perspective. He has 4 great dates with an awesome girl, had a few awkward moments, tried to recover as best he could, got a smile, thought everything was fixed, then got a text telling him to F off for no reason. You could argue I wasn't there and he really hurt you and seemed like he did it on purpose. But if you had spoken to him and he hurt you again, you would have been sure and not on Reddit asking if you overreacted. Like I said, this is a man. For the most part, don't listen to them. Just don't. You might end up with this type of person making you second guess yourself. Stop listening to men. Just stop. That's where we're going to end it. Just stop. This is how we ended up in so many situations listening to them, because this person should never be talking like this, like even trying to remotely make this woman think that she should second guess herself. Absolutely not. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. This young woman posted in the marriage subreddit. Her title, My Husband Refuses to Divorce Me. And I just want to remind us all that if you are in the United States currently, you do not need your husband's permission to get a divorce. I say do it now. You do not need his permission to sign this paperwork. Do it now if you need to get out for any reason. I'm just putting that out there before the post. Now let's get to her post. She says, I, 23-year-old woman, have been married to my husband, who's also 23, for 2 years, together for 5. So they've been together since they were 18. She says, he and I have talked about children ever since we got together, and he never mentioned anything about not wanting them. So for 5 years, I was under the impression he wanted them. But this year, he sat me down and told me his military plans. He plans to join special forces, which was no issue. I would always support him as he's currently military. The worst part was he confessed that he never cared for kids nor wanted them in the first place and wanted to wait till now to tell me. He didn't want to lose me if he did tell me because I was special to him. My heart was shattered and broken, and I immediately wanted to start our divorce proceedings, not because of special operations in the military. I could support him through that, but because our futures didn't align for kids. He didn't want kids, yet I do, and it hurts. I mentioned divorce, brought forward papers, and he refuses to sign them. He's offered to give me a child that I want to not lose me, but I don't think that's smart. If he has kids he doesn't want, he'll resent me or our kids. If I never have kids, I'll resent him, no matter what. Someone resents someone. I told him as much as I love him, our futures don't co-align. We deserve to be with people who want the same things. He doesn't want kids. He deserves a woman who doesn't want kids. I want kids. I deserve a man who wants the same things. I love him with all of my heart, but his mind is made about kids, and so is mine. Yet he insists we will have kids despite what he wants, and he won't allow himself to sign divorce papers. What do I do? I love him, but I hate living with the fact that he only gave me kids because he didn't want to lose me. I'll forever live with the anxious thought of him hating my son or my daughter. I grew up with trauma and neglect. The last thing I want to do is repeat the cycle. I want my children to feel wanted. My husband refuses to talk to me if I bring up the word kids and divorce right now. He refuses to let me go. He refuses to accept any thought of it, yet doesn't like nor want kids. What do I do? I've offered counseling and tried to console him over and over. I just want outside opinions. I love kids. I want a bit of my own someday, but not with a man who never wanted them. I don't know what to do. Yes, you do know what to do. You need to divorce him without waiting on his permission to divorce him. But what I want to talk about is how guys can continue a lie for 5 years. They can wear a mask until they feel like they have their hooks in you. So many people still blame the woman for not knowing. How could you not know? How could you not see the signs? Like, and then they'll blame women for being single mothers. They will, because they believe the man. And how do you know? How do you know something like this? Because she said that they have been talking about it and she was blindsided because he lied. How do you know someone is lying until their words and actions don't align? How do you know what their intentions are until their words and behaviors don't align? How do you know? And so this is the type of thing, like she said, regardless of what someone does, someone will end up resenting the other. This is not the type of thing that you can reconcile. Like someone doesn't like spaghetti. Okay, then let's get lasagna today. Let's get tacos today. And then like there's no consensus. There's nothing that's going to be, you know, a middle ground. You either want kids or you don't want kids. So this woman needs to pull the band-aid off quickly, allow them both to heal, and she needs to do what she said, find someone that wants the same things that she wants. I'm tired of whatever these dudes are lying on, that is the complete opposite of the person that they're pursuing. Like the men who know that they're conservative but act liberal to get a woman, or this type of person, the whole kids thing is a deal breaker. There are so many things that are deal breakers and they just go along with it and can mask for years. This is egregious. Soon says, move out, start living your life single, find out if there's any way to end the marriage without his signature, petition to be declared legally single. This person says he lied to you for 5 years. That's absolutely crazy. He can prolong the process, but he can't avoid it forever. He conned you into marriage. Would you have married him if you knew his views on kids? Probably not. Flimsy Gap says this is absolutely accurate. Nurse says, are you in the US? You don't need his permission to divorce. And then Happy Mama says, yet. And that's another thing. If you're in the United States, please go ahead and divorce before the next administration, this next theocracy or oligarchy takes over. Please get a divorce now. Nutmeg Tail says, you can bifurcate. That's divorcing without him agreeing. Major U says, we get one life. Story to some. This isn't a rehearsal. And if you want kids, you need to, at the very least, separate and move forward, divorce or not. Your husband married you under false impression of a family. Love sometimes just isn't enough. And then all the rest of these people are saying, just file, just file, just file, just let the courts handle it. Jules at the bottom says, he has less control than you are giving him. What's he think is going to happen? He refuses to sign, so you just go back to normal. Say something about waiting till he leaves for boot camp to find a real baby daddy, because he won't be around to stop you and watch his head explode. That's unnecessary. Let's not let a person that's in the military get that angry. That doesn't sound wise, especially since this person can and probably does operate a pew pew. Let's not take that advice. This is some terrible advice. I'm putting a little X on it. Terrible advice. Let's not do that. Anyways, y'all, join the conversation. Let me know what you think about this one. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. And don't forget, you do not need your husband's permission to file a divorce.